Hello again, watch friends. Welcome back. Today I want to talk about straps and bracelets. There's a multitude of options for holding that precious watch to your wrist. Your choice is basically reduced to two attributes: the type of strap and your personal preference regarding material, color, price, etc. I'll try to be as comprehensive in my overview as I can without wading too much into the weeds. For men, there are a few options for accessorizing your look. Usually, it comes down to selecting your belt, shoes, and maybe a tie if you wear one. If you wear a watch, which is likely if you're watching this, choosing a particular strap is a natural and almost obvious way to personalize your look. The particular watch you choose to wear is the starting point for making your look unique to you. The specific strap or bracelet you select can take that look to the next level. The origin of the watch strap is thought to have begun in World War I, where officers carried pocket watches in the field, but they were not convenient for a number of reasons. As a result, soldiers used leather to strap their pocket watch to their wrists. This initial military influence has carried over into many watch strap styles ever since. The evolution continued with early pilots, where pilots used long pieces of leather to strap a watch on their wrist, usually over top of the sleeves of their flight jacket. The straps were often held together with rivets, and this type of strap is available today, called the bund straps. Starting with World War II German pilots, bund straps have an extra layer of leather under the watch to shield the wrist from the metal watch case, which could be exposed to extreme temperature, like heat, in case there was a fire in the cockpit, and cold, freezing temperatures at high altitude. Bund straps also shielded the case from the natural sweat from the wrist, which could possibly damage the movement, since these early watches had little water resistance. Modern bund straps are often paired with pilot watches and sports chronograph watches. The bund can also provide a more substantial look on the wrist for older, smaller vintage pilot watches that look a little odd given today's modern large watch aesthetic. Another military-inspired, if not military in origin, is the NATO strap. This strap was originally known as the G10, referring to its NATO stock number, NSN, and the G1098 order form used to procure it and issued to the British Army in the early 1970s. In addition to popularity throughout the military, it gradually began to see acceptance by civilians. The original NATO strap is a single-piece construction made of nylon with a fixed metal buckle and two metal rings. It was only available in Admiralty Gray and a width of 20 millimeters. Modern one-piece NATO straps have an additional strap that slides through the two lugs, so you have two straps of nylon under the watch instead of one. Although it adds extra height to the overall thickness, it provides security in case one of the spring bars breaks, since the watch will still be attached to your wrist. It also provides stability on the wrist because it can easily be cinched up to create a snug fit. Modern NATO straps are made in leather, fabric, and nylon, but the majority of them are nylon. In addition to the one-piece style, a two-piece style is available that is more like a conventional strap and avoids the additional height, which can be problematic for an already tall watch. A riff on the NATO strap is the Zulu strap, which is generally heftier with heavy-duty hardware, more keepers, beefier rounded buckles, and is thicker. Zulus come in 3-ring or 5-ring models. There's a lot of variability in quality in NATO straps, but some companies do it right. You can spend $10, $25, or even $50 for a NATO, but you generally get what you pay for. The better quality brands, such as Haviston, use non-fraying fabric and are not scratchy on the wrist. Some of the advantages of the NATO include the ease of strap changes. It's easy to quickly change out the strap since no spring bars need to be removed and attached. Flexibility. It's very easy to change the overall look of your watch just by quickly changing the strap. and the strap won't be ruined if it gets wet like a leather strap will. The predominant non-bracelet style watch straps are made of leather. Many watch fans consider leather straps a more dressy look. These straps can be had in a variety of materials and styles, such as crocodile, cowhide, generally cheaper versions, shell cordovan, which is horsehide, and some exotics like ostrich. They come in a plethora of colors, and some have complementary color stitching, padded layers underneath the leather, and may even have a glossy or flat finish. As with most things, you get what you pay for, so it's important that you buy quality straps which will last longer and look better. There are a few other types of straps that should be mentioned. One is the Perlon strap that was first available in the 1960s. A European design, it's made of a finely braided nylon which always allows a perfect fit, since the tang from the buckle goes in anywhere, not just into predefined holes. It's very comfortable, lightweight, and although a NATO style, provides a posher appearance. I think it's not as dressy as leather, but comes in many different colors, usually solid colors. Perlon straps are available in different levels of quality. Rubber straps are popular mainly for dive watches, but can also be seen as aftermarket replacements for chronographs. The advantage of rubber is that it's strong, maintains its shape, and is water resistant. Still another style of strap is the Raleigh strap. With origins in racing, this leather strap is characterized by having holes of various sizes in the leather. It's thought that these little holes allow the wrist to breathe, especially important in a hot race car. It's also believed, although perhaps minimally important, that the drilled holes in the strap lessen the weight of the strap. Although in a race car technology, it's imperative to reduce as much weight as possible in the car, weight reduction in a watch strap is probably negligible. A note on keepers, those little loops that hold the strap tail close to the strap. Sometimes there's one, and sometimes there are two. They can be either attached, sewn in, or floating. Personally, I like one of each, so that the first keeper holds the tail of the strap, and the floater can be adjusted to match the length of the tail. A signed buckle with the name of the brand on it is always nice to have, and an indication that the watch brand is paying attention to details. Of course, changing out the strap will likely require you to transfer the original buckle if you want to maintain the original look as much as possible. Many straps are tapered, which means that the buckle width is not the same as the lug width. Keep this in mind when replacing the strap if you want to use the original buckle with the new strap. Here's a tip for preserving the life of your strap when you remove the watch. Some watch owners will bend the strap severely over the buckle when trying to unhook the tongue. This is not good, not only because it will crease the strap if done repeatedly, but it will also potentially separate the leather layers since each layer is being stressed to a different amount. Instead of this common technique, grasp the tail of the strap and push the buckle in the opposite direction until the hook is disengaged. It's easy and better for the strap. Doing the process in reverse can be used for placing the watch on your wrist. Finally, many watch enthusiasts like having a deployment clasp, not deployment, instead of the standard buckle and tang. A deployment clasp allows you to quickly attach and remove the watch from your wrist. You initially adjust the strap and clasp to fit your wrist, and that's it. Benefits of the deployment clasp include preserving the life of the strap, looking dressier, and as I mentioned, quick attachment and removal. The only downside of the deployment clasp is that it adds a little extra thickness to the underside of your wrist while wearing the watch. Changing out a strap or bracelet is fairly straightforward, but getting the right size can be a little problematic. It requires some planning and a little math. For a watch with a leather strap, there are 3 important measurements: the length of the head, which is the watch itself, the 2 strap pieces, the long piece and the buckle piece, and the buckle. Once you know your wrist dimension, you can take the circumference of your wrist, subtract the head size and buckle dimensions, and that leaves the total length of the two strap pieces. As an example, I have a 7.5-inch wrist, so that translates into roughly 191 millimeters. By the way, straps are measured in millimeters. If you don't know your wrist size, you can measure it with a piece of string, snugly but not tightly looped around your wrist, or use an existing strap as a guide. Say my watch head is 50 millimeters, measured as lug-to-lug distance, and say my buckle is 12 millimeters, the distance from where the strap attaches to the other end, not the width. So in this example, I need a strap with a total dimension of 129 millimeters, which is 191 minus 50 minus 12. Since you usually don't buckle your strap in the last hole, I'd give it another 5 millimeters or so, just for good measure. For this application, I'd want a strap measuring a total of 135 millimeters. There's little standardization among aftermarket strap brands on sizes, so you really can't use the terms small, regular, or long to get the proper length strap. Using this simple calculation, you can find a strap with the long piece and buckle end measuring 135 millimeters and have a high likelihood of getting the correct fit. Bracelets come in a variety of styles, but the challenge is to find an aftermarket one that matches the watch. Some of the types include H-link, fine link, Jubilee, beads of rice, fishbone, Milanese, oyster. Choosing a style is really a matter of personal taste, but there are some things to keep in mind. First, if a watch is available with a strap or a bracelet option, it's usually cheaper to get the bracelet with the watch. You can always add a strap later if you want to. For example, my Glasuta Original 70s Pano Date cost about $900 more with the bracelet when buying the watch. If you were to buy the bracelet separately, GO charges about $1,500. Watch Buys, an online seller of a variety of German watches, is the only seller I know of that charges the same price for a bracelet afterwards as it does when you buy the watch. Another issue in buying a bracelet afterwards is that unless you buy the brand's own bracelet for that particular watch, it may be difficult to get a good, seamless, integrated look for the watch/bracelet combo. There are a lot of cheap bracelets available, and those have hollow end links where the bracelet attaches to the head that look cheap and can bend and are best ignored. And adjustability is a key attribute of any bracelet. How are the links secured? Does it use pins, screws, or some other method? Are there half links included to allow you to get a better fit? And the clasp needs to be considered. Are there micro adjustment holes in the clasp that permit you to dial in the exact fit? Does the clasp itself have some easy adjustability, such as the one that Rolex has with the Submariner? You simply slide the adjustment under the clasp to get the fit, allowing a 5 to 7 millimeter adjustment to account for wrist swelling in hot weather, as an example. As I mentioned before, the style of strap or bracelet you choose depends on the type of watch and your personal preference. There are few do's and don'ts, but some people think putting a leather strap on a dive watch is sacrilegious, for example. You wouldn't wear a diver watch in the water with a leather strap, so why put one on? Some say only do it with a vintage diver that you don't plan to actually dive with. And still others just say, do whatever looks good and pleases you. That's how I feel. So change out those straps. Make your watch look good, which will make you look good. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to my channel to be alerted of future content. I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.